The pit stop is vital to every race team's success. Pull off the track, let your team go to work. Change all 4 tires, fill the fuel cell, and make needed adjustments, all in 8 seconds or less.
We are live here in the studio, but Pastor Will is in Indy today, so I'm going to give you a quick little F1 update before we go to some of the videos that he sent. They're really cool, actually. You get to see a little bit of what it's like on track. Not from the seat, but it's still really cool. I'm not sure if you guys watch F1 at all, but I wouldn't say a fanatic, but I do follow it pretty close. This past weekend was interesting. So we had the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and as usual, Max Verstappen is stubborn and doesn't want to get out of people's ways. So as Piastri and Lando Norris have been doing great this season for McLaren, and Piastri actually qualified second, I believe 100th of a second behind Max Verstappen. So as they come up to turn one, Max Verstappen was being very stubborn and ended up going off track a little into the runoff. And there was a bit of bickering back and forth, a little tiff back and forth. And Verstappen ended up getting a 5-second penalty, which ended up winning Oscar the race. It was actually pretty much the reason Max Verstappen finished about 4 seconds behind Piastri. And without the 5-second penalty, Max would have won. Other than that, it was pretty uneventful, though. A crash in the first lap, and it was pretty uneventful after that. I don't really have much to say about the race this past weekend. I'm just really excited that there's competition this year. It's really cool to see not just 2 or 3 teams fighting for the top spots, but Alpine and Williams have been finishing in the points. It actually only took 4 races this year for every F1 team to get points, which is crazy in my opinion. I'm really excited to see what the rest of the year has, and some other teams actually punching a bit above their weight class. And I'm excited for Williams, especially Carlos Sainz racing for Williams this year. Last year or the year before, he was Ferrari. So they got some good drivers and a lot of potential this year. And next year with a whole bunch of regulation changes, I wouldn't be shocked if this was the end of Red Bull's reigning era. It comes in waves, and the FIA is pretty. They pick on the teams. They look at who's doing well, and they kind of adjust for them, so there's more competition. I'm really excited. As far as American motorsport, though, I don't follow it too much, so I'll leave that up to Pastor Will. It's very weird for me. I wish I could give you guys a little bit of behind the scenes. But I'm just looking at all the screens and trying to talk at the same time. It's actually really challenging to do. Kudos to Pastor Will for doing it every week and coming up with topics, talking about it. I'm sure he's just thankful he doesn't have to push the buttons at the same time. That presents another challenge too. So we have some videos live from Indy for testing this week. So I'm going to roll over to that, and you guys can enjoy the rest of the show.
Well, there's nothing like a beautiful April day at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, sunny out, and Indy cars running at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This is a test day for the track, and this is the Pits Are Open, brought to you by Speed Sport, your one-stop shop for all automotive racing news, and helped by Red Light Ace, your also one-stop shop for all things racing graphics. I'm your host, Will Marotti. I am at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and it's an amazing site. It's open. Tracks are open, cars are running. It's pretty cool. There's not a lot of folks here. Quite frankly, there's very few people here because it is a test day. It's not a race day per se, but it's wonderful to be here. And I'm going to get over to the track and try to give you a little bit of sensation of what it's like. These cars are testing. This is really their first practice session of the year at Indianapolis. They've got a lot more weight on the cars now because of a hybrid electric system that they've had to incorporate. This car is about 100 pounds heavier. It affects the balance. It affects the the speed, the horsepower, it affects a lot of things. And so they're kind of getting their first feel for what it's like with the hybrid system in place and how it's going to affect their handling. Does it affect the lines going to the corners? It certainly is going to affect, to some degree, their top end speed in the straightaways. And this is their first chance to feel it, get a sense of what it's like before they get back here in a couple of weeks in May to begin practice for qualifying for the Indianapolis 500. Let's get over to the track and see what it looks like.
The races on the calendar, to being quick here, so it is something that our team has prided itself on. It's something that I've proven I can be good at. It's been a few years, so hopefully we'll get a chance to do it again. But also, just because that's the one thing that we haven't done yet. But
When you're watching on TV, you don't get this sense of speed. This is really cool. And you definitely don't hear it like this either.
How far ahead do you start planning for this year's 500? Is it a never-ending process?
In some ways, yeah. I mean, you come out of
I'm actually curious. I'm going to ask Pastor Will. F1 has helmet cams, so you can actually watch what it's like for the driver. I wonder if IndyCar has that. That'd be really cool.
It's really an off-season thing. You're never not thinking about it, but as we get into the rest of the schedule, it's very busy when we leave here, so you can't just stay present in May as we move on to Detroit and other events. But a lot of the development things that we do definitely are focused on this, as well as the rest of the championship.
It's incredible. You watching it, they make it look so easy. When you look at the way that these drivers have to train to do these kind of things and to put up with those G forces, they are true athletes. I'm sure it's similar with IndyCar, but for F1 drivers, they do like resistant bands on their neck and train ridiculous weights just to pull it. Oh, really? They introduced the helmet cams. That's really cool. And for IndyCar, do they also do so that for F1 they have a camera pointing back, a few pointing forward, but they have one really down close to the road too that gets a good sense of speed. And you don't really get that just watching the aerial view or anything. Caitlin and I have commented when we're watching the F1 races, specifically from the opening straight, it looks like they're going so slow as they're coming up to the camera, and then you go to an overhead and they're ripping it down the straight. You don't realize how fast they're actually going and how fast they're turning. They're putting up with several G's of force that would, for most people, throw them out of the car. That's why they're strapped in so well there. And the Pastor Will, I'm sure the IndyCar drivers talk about this too, but the amount of force that they have to push down on the brake pedal with is incredible. They'll have regular people sit in the cars and tell them, no, you need to push harder. They're pushing as hard as they can, and it's barely registering on the brakes. It's really a grueling sport. And you think, oh, they're just sitting in a car and driving. It is very, very physical. So, all right. I think we got one more video to show you, and then we'll wrap up for the day. I got so many buttons and things I got to push while I'm talking. I'm not used to this. Oh, hang on one sec.
Well, believe it or not, there's 34 combinations of cars and drivers here today. You're only seeing a few on the track per session. Toward the end of the session, you'll see a lot more. Everybody will be jumping in there. It'll be all skate by then. But that's it. It's pretty exciting. It's fun. Now, hey, listen, next week on the show, we're going to have Indy Star reporter Nathan Brown and upcoming YouTuber for IndyCar, David Land. So please go by our website, pitsareopen.com. Sign up for our newsletter, thepitsareopen.com, and check us out on social media as well. Share the show with your friends, relatives, associates, and neighbors. And have a great rest of your week. I'll see you next Wednesday.
And don't forget to like, comment, and especially on YouTube, subscribe. And then afterwards, you can check us out on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you find your podcast, you can listen to it there. And the best way for you to support the podcast is, yes, like, comment, share, subscribe, but share it with someone that you know and just encourage them. Watch this week, watch next week, give it a chance, even if you're not into motorsport. This is how we get more people to fall in love with this, and this is a great opportunity for you to also connect with something that you may never have connected over before. So like, comment, and share with your friends, and we will see you guys next week.